I have been in full-time ministry for over 15 years, from youth ministry, kids ministry, church planning, and almost everything in between. In this video, I'm going to share the 5 biggest leadership lessons that I've learned over the years that I wish I knew and understood when I was getting started in ministry over 15 years ago, and how when you apply them to your life, they will help you grow in your faith, in your leadership, and grow as a person. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Lucas Gonzalez, and welcome to episode number 1. I'm so excited for it. If you want to grow in your faith and spiritual disciplines, if you want to grow as a leader, you are definitely in the right place. You know, I started preaching when I was 17 years old. As a junior in high school, if I ever had the opportunity to share my testimony or share a short sermon to youth group, I have never been afraid to stand behind the pulpit and deliver God's word to God's people. But for years, I have let my own fears and my own insecurities hold me back from doing just this, creating some kind of content and putting it online. Well, it's a brand new year, 2025, so I am taking my own advice. I'm stepping off the sidelines into the game, and I want to start having a conversation of what does it look like to live dedicated to God in every area of your life, spiritually, soulfully, physically, and absolutely every area. And here is what you can expect from me. I'm going to make a commitment to post at least one video every single week. I'll share different things that I'm learning on my spiritual journey. I'll share about leadership, spiritual disciplines, ministry, and even the church. I'm so excited for it. Like I said, this is episode number 1. I'm talking about the 5 biggest leadership lessons that I've learned over the years. Here we go. Number 1, I believe that character is greater than your gift. All right, I'm gonna say it again. Character is greater than your gift. Your gift will open doors for you. Your gift will take you places. Your gift will have you stand out when you're in different settings. But if you're gonna be in ministry and if you wanna make an impact for the long haul, you have to understand that who you are when no one is watching is more important than who you are and what you do when everyone is watching, because your character is what sustains you. Your gift may take you places, but if you don't have the character to sustain the places or the stages or the influence that your gift takes you to, you'll never make it in ministry. You'll never make the kind of impact that you want to make. All right, so character is greater than your gifting. I remember being young and being enamored and mesmerized by people's gifts, their ability to preach or communicate or lead, or whether it be a worship leader and how they move the room or how they just seem like they're so connected to God, and just being overwhelmed by those things. And then you come to find out years later that they were living almost like this double life, or they didn't have the character to sustain the gift. So I think it's really important to understand, number 1, that your character is greater than your gift. Number 2, ministry is about relationships. Ministry is all about relationships, okay? I'm going to do a test with you. I heard this years ago. What, if you had to boil it down, what would 5 of the most important, impactful messages that you've ever heard? Can you remember them? I couldn't even tell you the 5 most impactful messages that I've preached, right? It's hard pressed to think about the 5 most important or most impactful sermons or messages that you've heard. But if I asked you, who are the 5 most important people that have had an impact on your life, whether for the good or the bad, that list would be way easier to come up with. And that's why ministry and impact shows that relationships are really the most important thing. When Jesus came to the earth, right after his 40-day fast and after he got baptized, the very first thing he started to do was build relationships with the disciples. Okay? And so ministry is all about relationships. When I think about the most fulfilling seasons of ministry that I've had in my life, when I think about the times where I felt like I was in my grace gift and in a grace season on my life, I don't think about the ministry. I think about the people that I do and that I done ministry with, because relationships is what ministry is all about. And here's the thing. There's a major temptation to grow as a leader, to grow in ministry, to grow numerically at the cost of people. And I think the kind of leader that I want to be, the kind of leader that I want to serve, is the kind of leader that understands that people are greater than, that this is what it's all about, that people is what it's all about, that we cannot sacrifice people for status or reputation, that we have got to care for people. It's the greatest treasure that we can have as a leader. Now that goes for no matter where I serve, whether that be a pastor or as a friend or just as a church member and volunteer. Like, I have got to understand that ministry in the kingdom of God, it is all about people. All right. So what I want to do is I want to have strong character, and I want to make sure that I understand that ministry is not about growth. It's about people and making those deep, meaningful connections. Number 3, I think this one's really good. Who you serve, and where you serve matters. Who you serve and where you serve matters. I remember coming out of Bible college, and a lot of times you're wondering whether that be, in my case, your second year or your third year going into an internship, or you're ready to start and get into ministry. You're like, where is the opportunity? What am I going to do in ministry? And sometimes you're looking for a church, or there can be even church job postings and job listings. You don't know anything about the culture of the church. You don't know anything about the DNA of the pastor, whether he's a good person or not. Here's what I've come to learn, that who you serve and where you serve matter. Here is my advice. I wish I understood this when I was younger. Don't search for a great position. I used to want to think like I would be a great youth pastor at that church. That's a big church. That's a mega church. I could do that. I want to be on that stage. I want to have that kind of influence, or any of those things that I've learned over the years that are really not that important. What I've come to learn is who you serve and where you serve matters. Don't chase position. Chase and look for healthy leadership. Healthy leadership, when you can get under and you can submit to healthy leadership, as that leader grows, as that leader ascends, as God trusts that leader with more and more. When you are under healthy leadership, it's not going to do anything but help you grow. And this is what I've learned. Healthy leaders are not intimidated by young leaders, strong leaders. In fact, they want them around them. When I first moved to Texas, 2011, I worked for this company, and one of the core values of this company was to question and challenge authority. Now, in the secular workplace, that was one of their core values. And that is something that has stuck with me. And I think it applies spiritually in the church and in leadership as well. If you have a leader that you can't ask questions to, that you can't push back, if you have a leader that is just looking for people to be around them that are yes people, that is not a healthy leader. So I'm not looking for a position. What I am looking for is healthy leadership. And so again, who you serve and where you serve is so very important. Number four, here we go. There are ugly sides of ministry. I did not understand that when I was getting started, because all you think about when you're called, like, I'll do anything for God, I'll go anywhere. It doesn't matter. I just want to serve God in this capacity. You just feel overwhelmed by this sense of purpose and this sense of calling. You're not always thinking about the challenging seasons of ministry. And really, there are ugly sides of ministry where you will go through seasons, you can go through moments where you can be hurt. It can be ugly. There can be misalignment in leadership. There can be lack of communication. There can be different things that cause you to be hurt or you to be frustrated, or seasons where where it's a challenge. I have been through wildly challenging seasons of ministry in my life where you think like, how could this happen at a church? How could this happen where we all love God, where we want to hear from God, where we care about people? We want the same thing, but this is not the right way to go about seeing the Great Commission come to pass, right? And so you can intentionally or unintentionally be in an environment where it can get ugly. And the truth is, you can be in a situation where you are unintentionally hurting people and not even knowing it, not even willingly or wanting to hurt somebody, but you can go through seasons where you might hurt people, where you might disappoint somebody, let somebody down. They were depending on you. They wanted you to be there. They wanted you to be at their birthday party, their kids' event, this graduation, this ceremony, this game, you name it. Where people can have an expectation about you that is unrealistic, and when you don't meet unspoken expectations, there's hurt in those settings and in those situations. And so you can be in the situations where ministry can get ugly. There will be times in ministry, okay, on the ugly side of ministry, where you will work incredibly hard to accomplish something. You will work incredibly hard to see something happen, to make something happen, whether that be an event or you trying to meet a deadline. I know, like, just as an example, when you take 30 kids, elementary age kids, to a kids camp, right? You're working really hard to take kids to kids camp. Transportation, lodging. You want them to have a good spiritual experience. You want to make it easy for parents. All these different things. You're working really, really, really hard to make a spiritual impact. Okay? And there are going to be times when you work really hard and people will only see what you didn't do, or how you disappointed them, or how you frustrated them. There are ugly sides of ministry where you can be hurt, or you can be hurting someone unintentionally. There will be times in ministry where it's challenging, where you'll work hard for somebody and all they'll ever see, the only feedback that you ever get or the feedback that you hear is how you disappointed somebody. And I got to tell you, when you go through that enough, when you go through that a lot, it can really be discouraging. It can be frustrating, and you can go through these seasons where you're like, I don't know if this is worth it. I don't know. Okay, so that was number 4. There are ugly sides of ministry. Number 5, I definitely didn't understand this when I was getting started, but your ministry will evolve with different seasons of your life. Your ministry will evolve as you evolve as a person, as you evolve and as you grow as a leader. But through different seasons of your life, your ministry will look different. Okay, that's again why I think it's really important that you have healthy leadership in your life, that you have somebody that is pastoring you, that cares about you, and that can help you walk through and navigate different seasons of your life. I remember when I was first getting in ministry, fresh out of Bible college, I'm ready to make an impact for God. I'm ready. I'll do it. And I had a group of friends. We were all single, and we were together all the time. All the time we were together. Anytime there was a church event, we were together. If a kid asked me to come to a game, easy. I got nothing to do. If a kid asked me to come to a concert, if a kid asked me to do this or do that, it's like, yeah, hey, you want to go get some friends and we'll go out and we'll just hang out? Like, you're just doing ministry all the time. It's easy because I was single and I was living at home and I had no expenses, and you just give all the time to ministry. And then I started dating, and then I got engaged, and you realize that how much you're giving and what you're doing is not sustainable and not always healthy for that relationship. And sometimes, like for my case, my wife, she has a job. She had a job. And so I'm giving all this time to ministry, and then in the time that she's working, I'm expecting her to show up and be as passionate about my events or my ministry as I am, when it's my job, it's my responsibility to do that thing and see that thing accomplished, and it wasn't always hers. And I think what can happen is you can get frustrated, and there can be contention and there can be conflict. And that's something that I have had to learn, and that's something that I've had to grow through over the years, and understanding that ministry doesn't always look the same in different areas of your life. Right? My daughter, my oldest, is 10 years old. 10 years ago, when it was another major adjustment. It was another major adjustment in our life. We brought a kid. Now we have 3 kids. And so what ministry looks like today is so much different than what it looked like 15 years ago. And there is going to be a temptation. And there is going to be really almost like the voice of the enemy. Like, you're not doing enough. You're not giving enough. You're not with people enough. You were a better pastor when you were 15 years ago. You were doing more back then. And really, you were just unhealthy. You were just go, 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 go. You didn't have anybody explaining to you how to be healthy for the long time. It is so different. And as your kids grow up, what I want for my kids is I want them to love God. I want them to love God's house, right? I want these things to happen for them, but I don't want them. What I won't do is I won't sacrifice my kids on the altar of ministry, right? That's not gonna happen for me. I've got healthy leadership in my life that is not asking me to do that. And I'm thankful for the season that I find myself in right now. But 15 years ago, these are things that I'm going to say them one more time. Okay, again, number one, your character is greater than your gift. Number one, your character is greater than your gift. You got this. Number two, ministry is all about relationships. Number three, who you serve and where you serve matters. Look for healthy leadership. Seek out healthy leadership. Number four, there are ugly sides and ugly seasons of ministry. And number five, your ministry will evolve in different seasons of your life. It will look different. Your impact will be different. It will evolve in different seasons of your life. Here's what I want to encourage you with. Whether you are new to ministry, been in ministry, a high-level volunteer, or you just love God's house, you love God's people, and you want to grow as a leader. Ministry is a journey. And it can be hard at times, but it also is incredibly rewarding. All right, these are, when I think about it, the 5 most important things that have shaped me and helped me in my ministry to grow as a leader, to grow personally. I hope that I help you as well. I want to encourage you with Galatians 6:9. Do not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. That's it for episode number 1. If you stuck with me to the end, I greatly appreciate it. If there's something that I can talk about that you want to know, leave me a comment. It would really bless me if you like and subscribe, share it with somebody. But until next time, live dedicated.